All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving our praise, honor, and glory. Nuti Hawa, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. And today is Monday, June 24th, 2024, Missile Monday, and I have this article from the Bulletin. And it says the U.S. Nuclear Arms Control Committee needs a strategic plan. So I'm just going to go into this article a little bit and bring out a few scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. And, it's kind of a long article, so I won't read the whole thing. It says, it is a commonplace that the danger of nuclear weapons is becoming more severe year by year. This is reflected in the Bulletin's doomsday clock, for which the time to midnight has declined steadily since 1996. At this trend, the international security situation will continue to grow even more perilous, despite the ongoing efforts of the U.S. arms control community to avert such a tragic outcome and drastically slash nuclear risks, or risk Slakia. The Arms Control Committee needs a new approach. It is usual within the specific scientific community when faced with a grand challenge to erase the blackboard, think fresh, and develop a new vision and strategic plan with great positive effect in many subfields. Yet such brainstorming and planning is not underway in the field of the U.S. nuclear arms control. Says the U.S. nuclear arms control community has been extremely resourceful and effective with many past successes despite its contrasted resources. However, the current approach of the collection of the arms control organizations, each with independent efforts and plans, is unlikely to map a more secure future. It is now the time for members of this community to challenge themselves with a community-wide effort to develop a strategic plan commiserate with the challenge of reducing nuclear risk. And there is no reducing nuclear risk, man. A nuclear threat is always going to be above everything, as far as, global disasters, so to speak. The nuclear threat is going to be at the top of anything, of these so-called, world-ending scenarios, meteors and, storms and things of that such. A nuclear war is always going to be at the top. There's no stopping this. As long as America is standing, the threat of nuclear war is always going to be in the air, So continuing, it says, losing the debate. Currently, the United States is increasing the capability of its nuclear weapons through its massive modernization program. With this escalating capability and the growing political pressure for further expansion to respond to nuclear plans in China and Russia, in 10 years, the prominence of nuclear weapons will likely be even greater than it is today. And America doesn't have 10 years left, man. It doesn't. Now, we don't know exactly how long, this place is still going to be standing before it's destroyed, but it doesn't have 10 years, The elites, they have, that plan for, 2030, which, they want to have their New World Order, I guess, done by that particular time. But, we know the elites, they're on borrowed time, man. They don't have a long time to do what they're trying to do, So it's going to be short. So, they think they have another 10 years. They don't. So continuing, it says societal forces that argue for increased dominance of nuclear weapons as providers of security have far larger influence on U.S. policy than arms control advocates and are winning the debate. funding for the nuclear weapons complex in 2024 is approaching 70 billion. The annual congressional lobbying effort that spawns is funded at over 100 million. Lobbying for nuclear weapons exceeds by several fold the entire budget for all activities within the arms control community, which includes research, education, information, dissemination, policy analysis, and lobbying. The relative persuasive power of arms control advocates likely exceeds its relative funding. Ideas are not measured by the dollar, but the current level of effort and the approach for nuclear threat reduction advocacy are sorely inadequate, despite the creative, savvy, and persistent work of this community. The arms control community is sufficiently under-resourced that it is difficult to free up the energy and time for a process of strategic planning, given the challenges of preserving even the funding currently available. However, it is at a such time that strategic planning is most critical and must be provided priority. Says the need for a strategic plan. The U.S. arms control and disarmament community is united in the overachieving goal of reducing the salience of nuclear weapons in international relations, but the community lacks not only a plan on how to fulfill that goal, but even a common statement of its grand challenge. An example of such a statement is to alter the U.S. nuclear arsenal and posture to accomplish global arms reduction in 10 years and disarmament in 20 years. So they want to reduce, those numbers. They want to reduce, the number of nuclear weapons, but clearly we know that's not going to happen. More nuclear weapons are being developed. As we know, as it stands, the two main nations that possess the most nuclear weapons or warheads are the United States and Russia, and in between those two countries, Russia has more, nuclear warheads than America, so there's still going to be an arms race because, again, World War III is going to be between the United States and Russia, Babylon versus the bear, the whore versus the bear, And as we know, Russia is going to take America down on a smaller scale. On a grander scale is going to be our Lord Yahweh Shai and the angels, So continuing, I'm just going to read a little more. It says a key constraint on any grand challenge is that it be achieved in a given time period. For example, such is the case with the setting of net zero carbon dioxide targets. Even the objective of disarmament above, as broad as it is, already stands in stark contrast in the current situation in the field. The Nuclear Arms Control Committee, community, does not possess a defined challenge, let alone a plan to accomplish long-term goals. Absent a plan or even the contours of a plan, actions toward nuclear arms control remain opportunistic and reactive, responding to congressional demands or news of the events. News events of the moment. The long-term challenge of arms control requires long-term planning. Says a plan for nuclear arms control and disarmament could include various elements such as large-scale outreach to the public, upgraded interactions with Congress, strategic countering of messaging, promulgated by the nuclear weapons complex in favor of nuclear weapons primacy in security or primacy in security, as well as more unorthodox actions. Surely those arguing in favor of more nuclear weapons development for decades to come do have and benefit from long-term plans, process, and participation, says the early stages of the strategic planning process should be free from constraints of resources and current organizational structures. Initial effort should focus on the question of what the arms control community would do if it were bound by only its ideas. Says such a process could address the following questions in sequence. What is the grand challenge to be achieved? What are the conceptual elements to accomplish the challenge? How would the elements be operationalized with intermediate time-bound accomplishments? What organizational structures are required? How much would the plan cost? And what could be accomplished with partial funding? And it says the process to develop a strategic plan requires that the arms control community come together with common cause, unfettered by organizational identity, open to various strategic approaches and goals. It could be open to all who are interested, informed, and involved in arms control work, whether they have been trained in the natural sciences, political sciences, or any other field. Participants in the process contribute as individuals build on their viewpoints and experiences, not as representatives of organizations. This is especially critical for those who facilitate or guide the process. To be a true community-based process, it should not be led by a particular organization, although it could be crucial that the leading arms control organizations encourage the planning process. The role of organizational structures can be considered and incorporated into the plan throughout the process, thereby strengthening arms control organizations. So this, it's pretty much them talking about how they need to, develop a plan for arms control. But that's not going to be the case, man. It's not going to be the case. Because as we know, all these weapons that are being created are going to be used, so they can, stockpile, all the nuclear weapons they want, but they're all going to be used, None of these weapons are going to be left over. They're being created. All of these nuclear weapons that are being developed and created are being created for this time, for World War III, because this is going to be the war to end all wars, That's why, Esau was blessed with the sword, and this is his ultimate sword, this nuclear technology that is going to be used, because this man came into power by violence and he's going to be taken out of power by violence, man. Because at one point, after World War II, when he dropped those bombs on Japan, he had the world in fear. But now these other nations, they aren't afraid of this man anymore because they developed the same technology as well, man. So this man is going to be taken out, by himself ultimately, because those Russians, they're Edomites as well, So let's get into the scriptures, because this isn't going to be a traditional war, man. It's not at all. Though you're going to have ground troops that are going to be over there, in the Middle East fighting, this war is mainly going to be fought with nuclear weapons. So I'm going to start with the book of Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. And it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." So yeah, man. Those nuclear weapons are what this war is going to be fought with, man. So while people, are worried about the draft, hell, the people that don't get drafted, shit, World War III is just, you're still going to be a part of this war, regardless if you like it or not. So the people that don't, get drafted, because men and women are going to be drafted into this war, man. So just remember, there's no escaping this, man. Anyone that's on the soils of America, especially when those missiles get launched, it's over. You're through. There's no escaping that. If you're not, of the elect, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna be destroyed over here, man. There is no escaping that technology. Those weapons. So I'm gonna get the book of Isaiah chapter 54. In verse 16, and it says, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals and the fire that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. And yes, man, talking about those nuclear missiles and those scientists, being the modern day smiths, because as we know, a blacksmith is one who deals in weapons, creating weapons, weapons of war. And, these modern day scientists, they are the modern smiths, man, the modern blacksmiths, because that's what they're doing. They're creating and developing these nuclear missiles, man, that are going to be used to fight this war, that's ultimately going to take out America, aka Babylon the Great. This is how America is going to be taken down by fire, man. Slakia, it's going to be taken down by fire, because again, this place came into power by violence and is going to be taken out of power by violence, man. The Lord gave Esau this technology ultimately to take himself out, man. It's just amazing, man. The Lord is cold, But this is serious, though. This is extremely serious. We're in very, very crucial times. We're in exciting times. But we're in very serious times as well, man, because again, this war is real. This is, things that the average American doesn't consider or isn't taking serious, that we're on the verge of a third world war, and it's indeed real, but people won't, get it until, people start getting drafted, and ultimately until they hear those air raid sirens going off and they hear on the news or, over the radios, this is not a drill. Missiles have been launched, from Russia, primarily from Russia, China, wherever, because they're going to be coming from those countries, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, missiles are going to be coming from pretty much everywhere, because even America's allies are going to shoot their missiles over here as well, but, people aren't going to get it until the day that destruction takes place, because this is extremely serious, man, but only the elect will get it. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and 25, and it says, The Lord hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord Yahweh, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. So yeah, man, really these nuclear missiles, they're part of the Lord's armory. Even though Esau is creating them, man, they're part of the Lord's armory, because again, the spirit of the Lord is going to be in those missiles, guiding them, man. Because it says, he's a consuming fire, man. And that's what these people are going to be. They're going to be consumed by that fire. They're going to be a sacrifice, man. Which I think is in this chapter. If not, it may be in another chapter. But again, still good. It's like, you know what? I'm back in Isaiah. I think it's 63. It's lucky. Isaiah 34 and verse 6, and it says, "The sword of the Lord is filled with the blood." It's like the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And yes, that's talking about America, man. The sword of the Lord again is talking about those missiles, man. And you people are the goats, and the lambs, the kidneys of rams, because those were sacrificial animals that, we would, or that the priest will offer up unto the Lord, man, that was sacrificed, for, a sin offering or for, a peace offering, things of that nature. Those are sacrificial animals, lambs, goats, and rams, but you people are going to be those, lambs, goats, and rams. You're going to be that sacrifice. You're going to be that burnt offering, and America is that great altar that is going to be burned, man. And you people are going to be a part of it. This is serious. This is extremely serious. And then I mentioned it. I'm going to get the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 9. And it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." And yes, that's what these other nations are doing, man. They're spending their money, on war. They're gearing up for war, man. This is why you have countries like Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. This is why you have these various countries that are, putting more of their resources into creating nuclear weapons, man. These other nations saying, they're not afraid. They're, the weak saying they're strong, man. That they have the same technology that America has. Hell, even greater. Because China has hypersonic missiles, man. So, their technology is, more advanced, than America. So, this place is doomed. You people are doomed as well. And then I also mentioned, because the elites, they want to accomplish their New World Order, but they won't be able to, The Lord is going to allow them to get so far before ultimately, he takes them out of power. So this is the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 22. It says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits," meaning difficulty. "Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him," the other nations. It says, "When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating." Because again, Esau wants to accomplish his New World Order. He wants to have everyone tagged with, the RFID microchip, which he's going to get, a good majority of people, but, he doesn't want to, or he isn't going to get everyone. He pretty much wants to create this dystopian, world, but he's only going to get so far before the Lord takes him out with these weapons, Verse 24, "He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through, and is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him." And yeah, man, the elites, they're going to escape. They're going to go into their bunkers or their space stations, wherever, they're going to go into hiding, because they're going to be preserved, from that destruction to come, because they're going to be the first fruits. Once the Lord takes America out and the elect come back down, because the elect are going to be beamed up, and they're going to see the destruction of this place, which, I might end it on that, but they're going to go into hiding, man, and they're going to see the destruction as well, taking place, because they think once America is destroyed, they're going to reemerge and pretty much, do what they want to do, and, that's not how it's going to be, so... This is the book of Revelation, chapter 15, and verse 2. And it says, "And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh." And yeah, that's talking about the elect, man. Because they're going to see that destruction taking place, they're going to be in the chariots, watching America being burned, man. And, they're going to be afraid, but they're going to be happy as well because they escaped that judgment. They escaped the wrath of the Lord, man, because that judgment that the Lord is getting ready to bring upon this place is going to be extremely, it's going to be scary, man. Because the Lord is angry. It says when he comes back, he's going to let out a cry like a travailing woman. He's going to let out that war cry, man. But he's going to save his elect before he pretty much wreaks havoc on the earth. Then I'm going to end it on this. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, and verse 12. And it says, "And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up into heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain men of 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted, and they gave glory to the power of heaven." And yeah, man, that's what's going to happen. During World War III, right before that destruction takes place, the elect are going to be beamed up and taken out of the way. The enemies, meaning the 2/3, the Edomites, the other heathen nations, they're all going to see it. They're all going to see the elect being beamed up right before they get destroyed, man. Because America is going to be taken out, and there is no, reviving this place after, So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.